Okay, here's the next project, and this is pretty much just a time waster project. I found this in that warehouse that a couple of us visited. This is a Motorola radio out of a console stereo like this. This is the schematic for it, and basically this is one of those console stereos that the water was pouring down on and just completely ruined. In fact, when I turned this thing up on end to get this out, the cabinet just turned into sawdust and pretty much collapsed, and I just kind of picked this out. You can see the rust in that. What this is this is a AM/FM multiplex receiver. And in this schematic here, they show 3 different amps available for this, and this is the lowest of the 3. This only uses 1 transistor. This is not even push-pull, just 1 transistor per channel. This is probably only 3 to 5 watts output maximum, maybe less than that. Anyway, tuner, IF, multiplex decoder board. And the transformer is external right there with it was sitting on an asbestos pad. You can see the leftover asbestos there. I need to remove, get some WD-40 on that and then scrape it off. I powered this up and it was just a strong hum, and I measured the voltage across the filter. There was like 9 volts AC and 1 volt DC, which would indicate to me that the rectifier is possibly shorted. So the first thing I'm going to do is when I get time, I'm going to neaten all this wiring up, zip tie it, get it all cleaned up, and then go from there.
Years, 135 flights. NASA ended the space shuttle program last year. Endeavour.
So here we are, it's alive. Basically that diode, the rectifier, is shorted. So what I've done is I'm feeding 10 volts into it from this Astron power supply. Actually, I could go up a little bit. It's more like 12 volts. Feeding it into the capacitor, and I need to change a diode. I got the transformer unplugged.
All their new shuttle needed.
But then doing this very interesting
actually sounds like the stereo multiplex decoder is working. Let's see if AM. AM sounds kind of dead. Yeah, nobody's home there. Could be these switches. But hey, at least it's alive. Let me get a thing in it. So back to the Motorola combo tuner. Turns out the power rectifier is shorted, and it also has another problem. I was able to run it on my 12 volt power supply, just totally bypassing the shorted diode, and after about 2 hours or more, one channel goes completely distorted, like the bias just drops off the output. So I'm going to look into that today. I'm going to change the diode right now. One thing interesting about this is it only uses a half-wave rectifier, which I thought was brutal on the power transformer. So let me get it apart and we'll get it going. So here's the rectifier diode right here. It's pressed into the heat sink. And as you can see, using the diode check on the meter, it's completely dead shorted. So I'm going to have to try and work something in there. I'm in the process of trying different diodes in this because it's drawing 1 amp, which is what the schematic says. I guess that's because it's half-wave rectification. Because see, it says, where is it here? 1.2 amp. And it's drawing that, so all of these are getting hot. I was going to mount one of these to the heat sink, but they're connected. The tab is connected to the wrong side of the diode.
You don't see that?
Okay, I found a diode here that I think is going to work. This is about a 5 amp Schottky diode, and it's just barely warm. So now what I have to do is let this thing run for several hours until the audio problem comes up, and then see if I can find that. I like the point-to-point IF on this thing, the way the IF strip is all point-to-point. You can see some transistors down there. This is Motorola. There's a transistor right there. Some diodes. Pretty neat. And then the amp is all point-to-point. I lubed all these pots. It seems to work pretty good.
Or someone you know has. So are the prices. Students and faculty on a brain. Instead, like Cheetos snacks. For him.
Okay, the bias issue has started. Okay, so I started at the output, and what I'm doing is I'm comparing the left and right channel, and the output is fine on both, the same. The AF amp is the same. The problem starts back here in the preamp and the AF amp, and what I'm seeing on the preamp here is the collector voltage is too high, the base voltage is too low, and the emitter voltage is too low, which would indicate this 1.8 meg resistor is going high. And of course it's really hard to test because it's got a transistor across it, and it's also located right there. It's that right there, brown, gray, green. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a little cold spray on that and see if I get a voltage change. And here's a little tip. For cold spray, you can use this dust off that all the kids like to inhale and brain damage themselves with, and just turn the can upside down. It's the same stuff, it's just refrigerant 134A. So I'm on the collector, and I'm going to spray that resistor a little bit. It's going to be hard to do this with the... Boy, it kind of went the opposite way. Ooh, that cleared it up. Okay, that was the other part I was suspecting of leaking, which was that 5 microfarad capacitor right there. But I don't see how if that was leaking it would cause the collector to go high. That doesn't make sense to me. But that's that capacitor right. Let's see, where is it? It's right there, that black one. Let me play with this some more. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, you can't argue with results, can you? Well, they're playing the Doors, and I can hear that the stereo demodulation is working excellent. I changed that capacitor. Where is it? Right there's the new one. And the other one was getting leaky after it got warm. And we've been working real well here for quite a while. The bias, there's still a bias issue on the front end on this transistor right here, and I'm 90% sure it's that 1.8 meg resistor, but I don't hear it, and it doesn't seem to be affecting anything, and it would be very hard to get down in there and change that, so I'm not going to screw with it. I'm going to button it back up, and I'm going to take it to the shop and let it run 10 hours a day for a couple weeks and see how it does.